Good morning, children. So after a long vacation, we are come back to our school again. But this time there is a change. We are in online classes. Okay. So now you are in 7th standard, and I am taking the third lesson, that is fiber to fabric. Before going to the lesson, I want to tell you something. Up to last year, only one teacher was taking science. From this 7th standard onwards, two teachers will be taking science. Biology will be taken by another teacher. Physics and chemistry will be taken by me. So, my topic is starts with the third lesson, that is fiber to fabric. Okay. So, today we are going to study about the third lesson, that is fiber to fabric. So, what do you mean by fiber? Fibers are threads. What do you mean by fabric? Fabric is the cloth. So, in this chapter, we are going to study about how the fabric is obtained from the fiber. Okay, we have studied two different types of fibers. What are they? Synthetic fiber and natural fiber. And can you give some examples for synthetic and natural fibers? Of course. Synthetic fiber, polyester is there, terylene is there, nylon is there, so many are there. And natural fiber example, wool, cotton, jute, all these are there. Then, what is the peculiarity of cotton and jute? Cotton and jute we are obtaining from plants. Can you give some example for natural fiber obtaining from animals? Yes, wool and silk. Are two animal fibers. These are obtained from animals. Which animal is silk? It is not a large animal or anything. It is silkworm. What is silkworm? It is a butterfly-like one. So it is called a silkworm. And wool. From where we are obtaining wool? So many animals are giving wool for us. Example, sheep is there, then goat is there, camel is there, alpaca, llama. So many animals are yielding from which we will obtain wool. I will show the pictures of some animals from which we are yielding. Now I will show you some wool yielding animal. This one is alpaca wool, alpaca, and next one is camel. This is a particular type of goat, and it is lived in Kashmir areas, from which we are obtaining pashmina shawl. Okay, then this one is sheep. You are familiar with the nursery rhyme, Baba Black Sheep, have you any wool? Did you remember? Okay, then this one is llama. Llama. It is a peculiar animal seen in South Africa and in that area. Another picture for llama. Somewhat resemblance with the goat. Then this one is yak. Yak is a special type of ox that we can see near Himalayan areas. Okay. And the last picture, it is a group of sheep. Okay, very nice to see, isn't it? So you have seen so many animals like yak, sheep, llama, alpaca. What is the peculiarity of all these animals? You have seen a particular type of goat there, and the common Malabari goat or Jamnabari goat in our areas. What is the difference between that the Kashmiri goat and this goat? What is the difference? Yes, of course. The pictures what I have shown to you, all these animals are covered with a thick fur, isn't it? They are covered with a thick fur, and this thick fur from which we are obtaining wool. Okay, so this thick fur we are obtaining wool. And what is the peculiarity of these animals? These animals are living in an area where there is maximum cold, or in a winter. Winter will be very severe. So, in order to protect from winter, the nature gives a gift for these animals, and that is protection for these animals, and that is the cover. Okay, and this covering we are cutting and we are using for the processing of wool. And so many animals are giving wool. And what are the peculiarities? Some sheep will give very nice fur. What do you mean by fur? The under fur of the animal. The fleece means the soft wool of the animal. This sheep is known as fleece. Okay, so we are we are selecting the parents and we cross them and we are getting the offspring. What do you mean by offspring? Offspring are nothing but child or children. Okay, so in order to get good quality of food, we select the parents and cross them and use. Okay, and that process is known as selective breeding. Okay, that process is known as selective breeding. Next, we are going to study about the different steps involved in the formation of wool. The different steps formed in the formation of wool. There are 6 steps involved in the formation of wool. What are they? First one, step 1, shearing. What is shearing? Shearing is nothing. We cut the wool or the fur of the sheep along with a layer of skin. Okay. And you think that if we are cutting it along with a layer of skin, blood will come or something happen for the sheep? Nothing. If we are cutting our hair or if we are cutting our nail, anything happen? No. Why? Because they are dead cells. So, by cutting the wool along with a thin layer of skin, that process is known as shearing. And it should be noted that shearing should be done in summer season. Shearing should be done in summer season. Why we are doing it in summer season? Because in summer season, this animal can somehow survive without this wool. But in winter season, the fur must be there, otherwise it will die with it cannot overcome the climate. Okay. So, first step is shearing, removal of the wool along with a thin layer of skin. Then, step 2. Step 2, scoring. So what is scoring? Scoring is the washing of the fur, because we are cutting this fur along with a layer of skin, isn't it? So dirt will be there, so grease will be there, some impurities will be there. So we want to remove the impurities. For this, it is washing in big tanks in order to remove the oil, dirt and everything. And olden days it was done by hand, and nowadays all these processes are done in machines. Okay, so second step is scoring. Then step 3. What is step 3? Sorting. So what is sorting? Sorting is after scoring we are separating the wool according to their nature, texture, color and everything. Okay, some are very good, some problem will be there, all these will be there. So according to their texture and nature we are sorting the fur, and that process is known as sorting. Step 1 shearing, step 2 scoring, step 3 sorting. Now step 4. Step 4 is removal of burrs. What is burrs? When we are using sweater or cloth, you can see small pieces of fibers, isn't it? That will be removed. Unwanted small pieces of fibers are removing, and that process is known as removal of burrs. Then step 5. Dyeing. What is dyeing? Normally, how many color of sheep you can see? Either black, white, grey or a reddish color or something like that. Okay, remember the nursery once again, Baba black sheep have any old black sheep is there. Then we had a little lamb which is white as snow. Okay, all these, so certain colors only are there. But while we are using sectors, we have different colors are obtained. For that, we are giving color. And this process, giving color to wool, by that process is called a dye. Now, step 6, getting into yarn. Getting into yarn. What is yarn? Yarn, we are making the long threads. Okay, so it is rolled and finally we will get long threads and long, very strong long threads we are using for making the sweaters and small thing we are using for making other clothes. Now I will show you a video for this process. So we can see the sheep is, the farmer is, the sheep is sheared to remove the fleece. The fleece are removed. Now after this it is fleece are laid for transport to mill after washing and removing the dirt, and this process is called a scoring. After that what happens, it is sorted and the sheet are twisted in. This silver, that term we are not using. It is in the chart it is given, but normally we are not using that term. Okay, so then after that getting into the yarn and it is given color. So these are some steps involved in this, and next I will show you a video in which this all these processes are going.
What do wool and hand cream have in common? Well, a sheep's fleece has an oily protective coating, which contains a substance called wool grease. When factories make yarn, they first clean the wool with detergents. The grease is processed into lanolin, a common ingredient in hand creams. Historians believe that people began raising sheep for food and clothing about 10,000 years ago. And around 4000 BC, they started spinning the wool into yarn for weaving fabric. The Romans brought wool production to England in about 50 AD. Woolen fabrics would become the country's chief export for centuries. In 1797, Britain shipped 13 sheep to Australia, starting what would become the largest wool industry in the world today. Wool fabric is durable, wrinkle-proof, and holds its shape well. It absorbs moisture and insulates against heat and cold. That's why wool is ideal for clothing like sweaters and coats. Sheep shearers use power shears, removing the fleece in one piece. They discard any stained or inferior wool, and then sort the rest according to the quality of the fibers. This grading is based on length, color, waviness, and fineness. The wool is cleaned with detergents before processing. The wool arrives at the factory in compressed bales. Workers untie them and feed the wool into the opening equipment, whose metal tooth rollers comb out and separate the fibers. From there, the fibers go into the blending room, where air currents mix different grades of wool to get the desired texture. If they'll be weaving a wool blend, they mix the wool fibers with other materials, such as polyester fibers. A thorough blending takes about an hour. An air pipe transports the blended fibers to the next station. On the way, sprayers lubricate them with a mineral oil mixture to make processing easier. The fibers arrive at the carding machine, where they pass through a series of rollers with thin wire teeth. This untangles the fibers and lines them up parallel to each other. This process also removes any pieces of debris caught in the fibers. The carding process produces a smooth, flat sheet called a web. The equipment divides this web into thin, flat strips. These strips go through rub aprons, two rollers that twirl them into thinner, rounded strips called rovings. The rovings wind onto a spool. Rovings look like yarn, but if you pull on them, they simply tear. They haven't been spun, so they have no strength. Each roving goes into a device called a spinning frame. It stretches the roving and spins it tightly, producing wool yarn. The yarn winds onto a bobbin. Spinning gives the yarn strength. Now they can weave it into wool fabric. A fully automated loom does it all. Watch in slow motion as it inserts one strand at a time, crosswise, through stationary lengthwise strands. It's computer programmed to thread in a specific under-over configuration, according to the type of weave. The loom inserts 400 strands per minute. After weaving, they burn off vegetal matter, such as straw fragments. Then they dye and dry the fabric. All wool fabrics undergo finishing to give them a particular appearance and feel. These spike rollers created a plush finish. Wool fabrics can also have a sheared or flat finish.
Hope you enjoyed the video. So once again we can recall the steps involved in the processing of wool. What are they? Shearing, scoring, sorting, removal lumber, dye and getting into the yarn. So read the textbook very well. Minimum 2 or 3 times you should read the textbook. Textbook is the fundamental thing for our studies. Don't blindly follow through the notebooks. So from the inner part of the textbook also questions will come. Okay, so very thoroughly you should read the textbook, familiar with the textbook, and as I have mentioned earlier, 2 teachers are taking science, 1 teacher is taking biology, and physics and chemistry portion will be taken by me. So you must have 2 notebooks, the one is for biology and the other one is for physics and chemistry. Okay, then notes what I have given, worksheet and test paper. These 3 will be the worksheet you should done in the notebook itself with the date and the questions. Okay. And test paper either you can write in the A4 sheet or back side of the notebook. The better you write in the A4 sheet. Okay. All the things should be done in the notebook. Okay. Any doubt is there, you can come and contact me. No problem. So thank you.